This is Return to Glory.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Return to Glory. This is episode 2, and we're going to jump right into it with the Front Office 5. This is a segment I added just to kind of give you guys an idea of what we're going to be doing as the team moves forward and how we're going to build our roster, how we're going to focus on salary cap issues, things of that nature. And guys, just to break it down into layman's terms, really, I'm looking to run a 12 personnel on offense the majority of the time, which basically means one running back, two tight ends. The first number is the number of running backs. The second number is the number of tight ends. That's kind of some football lingo. I'm a very run-happy offense. I like to lean on the run a lot, even though I do have Aaron Rodgers and weapons out there on the outside with the great receiving core that the Packers have had for so long. We're also going to make sure that we have 7 solid linemen, because I do like to run a lot of jumbo tight end sets. I like to mix and match when it comes to personnel. I like to show a double tight end set, but throw 2 linemen in, much like the Patriots did in the playoffs a few years ago. So, but when it comes to the receiving core, we are very lucky. We've got a solid receiving core, and have for some time. Jordy Nelson, when he came in the league, man, he was a guy that wasn't highly touted, but has just been a solid player as the number 1 go-to receiver. So we have that solid number 1 and Randall Cobb. They've kind of been my dynamic duo, if you will. And with Jordy Nelson going down, it's a huge blow to our offense. It really does hurt production. But what's really cool is I got an ace in the hole with Davante Adams as well. So on the defensive side of the ball, what I look to do is I mainly stay in a 2-4-5. And in a 2-4-5 defense, a 34 look, those 2 defensive linemen are going to be 300-pounders, right? And they're going to basically, they're going to act as the run stoppers up front. We're going to have 4 linebackers and then 5 defensive backs, 2 of which are safeties. So it's a nickel defense. And as I'm showing here, basically what I'm looking to do, guys, is in year 1, I want to make sure my best players on my team fit the 12 personnel on offense and the 2-4-5 on defense. Then the second year, and also, one thing I do want to key in on is I want minimal bench cap hits. And what that means is if someone isn't starting, they better not be making more than a starter, period. Case closed. So that's one thing that I'm going to focus on the first year, getting the personnel right and minimizing that bench cap hit. Now, the second year, by year 2 of this franchise, what my goal is going to be is to have every single position at least 80 overall, okay? So both offense and defense within the 12 personnel set and the nickel 2-4-5, I want to make sure every player on the field is an 80 overall. And like I just showed you there in that quick clip, the third step is going to be I want 3 defensive players that are 90 overall or above, okay? And those 3 positions are very, very key to me. The first being defensive tackle. And as I showed you, we just had, Mike Daniels is basically going to be playing nose tackle for this Green Bay Packer defense. My goal is going to be to get him to a 90 overall. Now, in the middle, I've got a decision to make. I've got 2 very young linebackers, one that's 23 years old, one that's 22, being Jake Ryan, who's 75 overall, and Blake Martinez, who is 77 overall. However, once you guys watch this video, Blake Martinez has now jumped up to a 79 overall. So it looks like I'm going to move forward with him just being 22 years old. So that's going to be my middle linebacker of the future. So again, I'm going to try to get my defense and offense to 80 overall and above, and then really key in by year 3 on getting a 90 overall at defensive tackle, middle linebacker, and I prefer free safety. And this works perfectly for me. As you just seen just a second ago, Clinton Dix is already rated an 85 overall at 23 years old. So that shouldn't be an issue there. So by year 3 of my CFM, I should have Clinton Dix at 90 overall. I should have Blake Martinez at 90 overall. And I should have Mike Daniels at 90 overall. So what you're going to see in gameplay footage moving forward is I'm going to build the defense around Blake Martinez. I want to put him in a position where he can make plays in the backfield. tackles for loss. I want to make sure he can get to the quarterback and get some big hits there and possibly sacks. It's going to boost his XP so we can really build him up moving forward. Also in the game prep aspect, I am game prepping Blake Martinez, but I'm really keying in on 2 young corners because I don't want you guys to think that I'm ignoring the cornerback position. That's not the case at all. I just want to make sure that I use the sidelines to my advantage. Therefore, I'm putting the best players on the field right in the center of the defense. Okay, that's the whole purpose. I want a 90 overall defensive tackle that's going to help stop the run and get pressure on the quarterback. I want a 90 overall middle linebacker who's going to be able to float in zone but also clean up those running plays. And then obviously at safety, I want a ball hawk back there. So just want to kind of give you guys an idea. And as far as draft strategy, I'm just looking to stock up on picks. I'm not looking for a top 10 pick. I've already got 2 first-round picks through trades. So now what I'm going to do is going to start trading back and loading up in the 2nd and 3rd round. So that's front office 5. Now you guys are probably wondering right now, what is showing on the screen right now? What is playing? This is the Ice Bowl. This is from New Year's, I believe it was New Year's Eve. It might have been New Year's Day. 1967, Lombardi's Packers played in one of the coldest games in the history of the NFL at Lambeau Field against the Dallas Cowboys. And this is a game that I'm sure you guys have heard of if you're a football fan at all. This is one of the greatest games in the history of the NFL. It came right down to the wire as the Packers ended up winning with a quarterback sneak. And, I'm a big history guy, so this is something I really want to tap into using this show moving forward is it's called Return to Glory for a reason. And, rumor has it that Mac and I are probably going to put extend the series into Madden 18 and use another team. So any team that we do use, we're going to tie in the historical aspects of that franchise. And rumors are it may be the Cleveland Browns. So you're going to hear a lot about Paul Brown. You're going to learn a lot about how the Cleveland Browns were a dynasty back in the day. And this is exactly what you're seeing here with the Green Bay Packers. Obviously Lombardi, his name is on the Super Bowl trophy for a reason. You're talking about a guy who didn't coach very long before he passed away of cancer and was just one of the most influential figures in the history of the National Football League. And this is arguably the greatest victory he ever had here in the Ice Bowl. So what you're seeing now is one of the final, coming down the stretch here. This may even be the final drive. It looks to be. Yeah, there as he's hitting Chuck Mersine, a transaction that actually took place just earlier that year. The Giants cut Chuck Mersine, and Lombardi picked him up. And there you see the quarterback sneak for the win as the Packers win at that point their 3rd consecutive NFL championship, sending them to the 2nd Super Bowl. So why did I show that? Why did I show the Ice Bowl? I'm going to tell you why. Guys, the game this week is Week 8 against the Indianapolis Colts. And let me tell you, we got a cold one on tap. You can see the fans already bundled up for the game. There was snow in the forecast for the last 2 days. Got a lot of snowfall, somewhere around 8 to 10 inches. But now it's kind of shifted over into a wintry mix, if you will. You're going to see a lot of cold sleet and rain today, and they were unable to clear the field completely from all the snowfall that has moved into the Green Bay, Wisconsin area the last few days. You can see these fans bundled up. They're ready to brave the cold. This is what I love about Packer football. Packer football at Lambeau Field, it's all about the elements. It's all about old school, grind them out, gridiron type football. So as we jump into the game here, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a preview, it looks like the Colts are struggling a little bit. Obviously they got Andrew Luck at the helm. The Packers are now, we are now, I think 6-1, maybe 7-1. I'll have to look at the record here. 6-1, that's right. We lost last week to the Atlanta Falcons on the road. That was a big loss there, especially after the thumping that they took in the NFC Championship last year. You can see here with this cold, sleet, and snow mix with snow on the ground. This is going to be a sloppy one, so look for both teams to try to lean on the run a little bit. McCarthy, he's got his guys ready. Guys, Ty Montgomery has been just running like a madman here of lately. Really excited to have him as my franchise running back moving forward, especially as Aaron begins to get a little bit older. We should be able to get at least 5 more years out of Aaron Rodgers, so we're set at the quarterback position. Now it's a matter of keeping Ty healthy, and as I've upgraded him to this point, what I've really keyed in on is upgrading his injury rating and also getting a world-class training staff, which we'll talk about that here shortly. But nonetheless, here's the kickoff. As we get underway at Lambeau Field, Mason Crosby boots it deep. We will have a return as it's fielded at the goal line, bringing it out of the end zone. Little spin move, and he will be brought down at the 23-yard line. So not a wise decision to bring it out. But here we go with 1st and 10. Andrew Luck comes to the line, checks everything over, back to pass, and here you see a little bit of luck, no pun intended, as the ball hits the receiver in the back and he still brings down the catch somehow. You're going to see us continue to lean on that zero coverage blitz, guys. I want to put pressure on opposing quarterbacks. That's what we're going to do this entire game. And as you can see right here, right out of the gate, Blake Martinez, our centerpiece to this Packer defense moving forward with the sack on Andrew Luck, causing a 3rd and 13. So here Andrew comes to the line, gets them set. Looks like an empty backfield, 4 wide, 1 tight end set, and drop back to pass. More pressure. As you could see, the Packers get another sack there as Kenny Clark. I'll tell you, Kenny Clark's having a great year. This is his 2nd year in the league. He's a guy who plays the run well, but has a lot of quickness and can play the pass as well. So next drive, Packers ball, 1st and 10 from their own 24. Aaron back to pass. Quick out route to Davante Adams. You're wondering, where's Jordy? Well, in the game against the Falcons, he went down with an injury. He will be out 5 weeks. And Davante Adams has a heck of a chance to step in and play at a different level. So it's going to be fun to see how that unfolds. Here we're showing a special teams play, guys. You say it with me. It's either a big play or a boo-boo, and it's a big play. Jeff Janis has been a weapon for the Packers this year so far on punt returns, and you can see, my goodness, guys, with the #1 ranked defense in the league, and you can get your special teams to get you down the 17-yard line. That's a weapon in itself. Here we come out in a jumbo tight end set. Going to hand it off to Ty Montgomery. There he is outside. This has become the money play. This has become the big play here of lately to get points on the board for the Packers is running that jumbo tight end set. You know, with it being a passing league, you know, things come and go in waves when it comes to the NFL. And, you know, I think Madden's no different. You know, all these defenses, everything that the devs put in every year is geared around what's really going on in the league. Well, you don't see many teams running a jumbo set. So if they're out there in a nickel defense, just like I explained earlier that the Packers are in our 2-4-5, if somebody runs a jumbo set against me, it's going to be a mismatch for sure. So here's the next drive. Packers ball back down inside the 20. Hand off to Ty Montgomery. Look at the dive over the pylon. What a play. Man, I'm really excited to see this other angle here because Ty Montgomery just stretching out, and you'll see that he did not fumble the ball. And I'm going to tell you something. 4 weeks ago he would have fumbled, but I've been boosting his carry ability tremendously here of lately as he dives over the pylon, holds onto the ball for the touchdown. You got to understand, guys, he was a wide receiver converted. So, you know, a wide receiver playing at halfback, his carry ability was like 76 or something dangerous. So that's where I'm spending all the XP that we're gaining is just to try to boost that carry up and protect the football. So there you see another big play by the defense. Packers next drive, they're up 14-0, second quarter, 5:42 left. We got a mismatch here. You see Ty Montgomery, former wide receiver, flexed him out, got a mismatch, bump and run, zero coverage over the top. Beautiful touch pass by Aaron Rodgers to get the ball down inside the 10 to Ty Montgomery. Just another wrinkle that this playmaker brings from Stanford. Really exciting to watch him play out of the backfield. So after a crucial fumble, though, by Ty Montgomery, the Colts get the ball back, but you can see this defense steps up. Morgan Burnett, safety blitz, gets the safety on the running back. It's now 16-0 just before halftime. This defense is nothing to mess with, but anytime you play bump and run against Aaron Rodgers, you're going to have that happen. Beautiful play. That's usually Jordy Nelson's play on the outside there against bump and run, especially when they play single high safety. And in this case, it was Randall Cobb that I put in that spot because he's got, I think, 92 speed, 90 speed, somewhere around there. Decent release at 85. But look at the toe drag, guys. My goodness, what a play as the Packers go up big here. So going into halftime, the Colts with a chance to put some points on the board. Only 12 seconds left in the second quarter. Quick slant. Beautiful pass by Luck. So I'm going to tell you, the game would have been over quick had they not completed that pass. It's his 20th touchdown pass of the season for Andrew Luck. Now, coming out here in the second half, we're in the third quarter, 7:52 left. Aaron comes up with an empty set, but guys, this is still a 12 look. We've got a running back flexed out wide, so we give ourselves a mismatch. However, look at the errant throw. The weather gets to Aaron Rodgers. You can see trying to hit the drag route, nowhere near the receiver. That's what happens when you play in these kind of elements. Luckily, the defense gets the ball back here with 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Packers in great position. Dropping back to pass. They're playing man coverage and Randall Cobb out of the slot left. absolutely burns man coverage coming across the field on the slant slash route there. As Randall Cobb is definitely going to be a go-to guy for Aaron Rodgers moving forward. Here we are in the fourth quarter, 7 minutes left. It's almost out of hand. Andrew Luck back to pass. Who is it? Blake Martinez with the inside blitz, causing the fumble. Clay Matthews, the Claymaker, down the sideline, little bit of showboat, and another defensive touchdown. Looked almost identical to Nick Perry's there in episode 1. So these outside linebackers are definitely doing their part, containing the run on the outside, allowing some of the inside pressure to make the play, and they're just coming in and cleaning it up. Great awareness, great play recognition there to pick the ball up and take it back for a defensive touchdown. And guys, if you want to know how this day's gone for Andrew Luck, just look at his jersey. My goodness, he is just muddy as all get out. Clay Matthews still showing that he's got a little bit left in the tank at 30 years old. He's going to be, pretty much the pass rusher trying to hold on as Nick Perry looks to take over his crown. But here we are in the fourth quarter, 3 minutes, 35 seconds left. Indianapolis drives down on a 4th and 7, and they are going to get a field goal, and that's going to make it somewhat respectable as it's 37-10. However, the Packers would come down one more time and score, making it 44-10 as they beat the Colts at Lambeau Field. This is, that the Colts team is no pushover. However, they're nothing like they were a few years ago before Andrew Luck had the shoulder injury, as well as I believe it was the liver injury. He had a bruised liver or something like that on a huge hit during the game. So hopefully they'll look to rebound, but the Packers move on and improve their records. So things are looking up for the Green Bay Packers for sure. So, guys, this next segment, this is called the bottom line, okay? What I wanted to do is tap into owner mode just a little bit, okay? I want to give you guys just a little bit of insight on exactly what's going on within our owner mode, and it starts with the staff. I've done a little plug for this earlier and wanted to kind of explain that the first thing I did as a franchise owner was I went in and revamped my staff. I got top-notch scouting department with DB overall as their specialty because we're looking to scout a lot of corners this year. We're a little weak at the cornerback position. But on top of that, went out and got a world-class regression trainer so we could reduce the amount of regression that happens, because we do have some older players like Clay Matthews, Jordy Nelson, guys like that. So it's very, very important that we make sure that we get as much out of those guys as we can, rather than just jumping in and at 32 years old they're useless on our team with a heavy salary. So staff is very important. A lot of people overlook it, and next thing you know, they're on Twitter complaining about how their players are regressing too soon. I agree, there are things wrong with the regression system in Madden, but there are things that you need to really key in on as well. Now, looking here, guys, you see the revenue. It showed that we lost money last week. That's because we were on the road in Atlanta, and with the player's salary and the cost of running the team, you always lose a little bit of money on the road. However, we've been turning over some serious cheddar here of lately. And you can see up in the top right, our funds are sitting at $72 million. And what's really cool is we don't have anyone to re-sign this year. Everyone's already under contract. Next year's going to be a big year for that. So what we're going to do is really key in on prices here. We're adjusting. You can see the red arrow on the left if you guys have ever played owner mode. The red arrow on the left or the green arrow on the left will show you how things were sold from the previous week. What we did was we went in and adjusted some prices to maximize our profit in that regard. So now we're sitting here, right, with $72 million to spend. There's no players to re-sign. Let's go look at our stadium. And you can see Lambeau Field, it's been around since, I believe, 1957, if I remember correctly. So it's an older stadium. So we're going to go in here and just kind of take a glance at the shape of everything. And when you look at, what's in worse shape, I mean, you've got the parking that's in the red. You got the team store that's in the red. Packer Pro Shop. You got the Packer Hall of Fame, which is the fan zone. You got the bathrooms. There's a lot of renovation that needs to take place. Obviously they had a lot of upgrading this year with the stadium seating. But what we're going to do is really key in on concessions, because we feel like that's going to maximize profit, increase sales at our concession stands if they're top notch. So we'll go ahead and get that back to a 99, and that now drops our funds down to $42.1 million that we have in the bank to spend. And you know what? The heck with it. Let's go back in and let's see if we can upgrade something else. If we don't have players to re-sign, we have time to boost that money back up. I mean, we're only in week 9. We're going to have several more home games to create some more revenue, as well as, let's do this. Let's take a look at the salaries, and I can kind of show you guys what I'm talking about here. This is from overall rating, in that order. And you can see, there are none that have just 1 year remaining. So we're in great shape. Everyone is under contract. We're under the salary cap by quite a bit, 25.8 million. And the best player we have on the roster that's only got 1 year left on his deal is 21 years old, and he's only a 72 overall. That would be no problem to re-sign. There won't be a whole lot of bonus money involved there because, guys, the funds, what it controls is how you build up your stadium, how you keep it in great shape, and it also controls the bonus money that you give up front to the player, which in free agency, once we get into the offseason, I'm going to show you guys how you can really maximize who you sign here. So what we're going to do is hop back in, and we're going to go ahead and upgrade something else to do with the stadium and Lambeau Field and the surrounding area here. As like I said, we still got several in the red. Let's start with the parking lot. Let's go ahead and upgrade the parking lot. This is going to increase fan happiness and also attendance with that. So, guys, that's all I've got. I hope this was short and concise enough for you. This is how we're going to use this. This is the format we're going to use moving forward, and we look forward to bringing you episode number 3. Just keep your ears to Mac's channel and his Twitter. Thanks for watching, and God bless.